Is the money in your pocket a mass hallucination? That's not a metaphor. It's a genuine question. For about 95% of human history, money didn't exist. Not coins, not gold, not barter, nothing. I need you to sit with that for a second. Every transaction you've ever made, every payslip, every savings account, every price tag, for 300,000 years, none of it existed. And yet, humans built trade networks, funded wars, fed cities, and ran entire civilizations. How? What I'm about to show you isn't just the history of money, it's the story of how humans invented trust out of thin air and then nearly destroyed themselves with it. And the most important chapter of this story? It's the one nobody talks about. It involves wooden sticks that literally burned down the British Parliament. I'll get to that. But first, you need to unlearn the one thing you were definitely taught in school. Most people think that before money, humans bartered. You've got chickens, I've got grain. We swap. Simple. That sounds right. It's clean. It's logical. It's also a fairy tale. No anthropologist has ever found a single society in human history that operated on pure barter. Not one. The entire story was invented by Adam Smith in 1776. He needed a before to make money look like the rational solution, and every textbook since has copied it without question. Here's why actual barter is absurd. If you want my cow and I don't want your chickens, or I want them but not right now, or I want them but not in exchange for my entire cow, the deal dies. Economists call this the double coincidence of wants, and it basically never happens. So, if ancient humans weren't bartering, what were they doing? The answer is so counterintuitive that it breaks most modern brains, and it worked for 300,000 years. Here's the system that actually existed: the gift economy. The rule was brutally simple. If you had more than you needed, you shared it. Not because you were nice, not because you were generous, because in a world without refrigerators, without police, without written contracts, sharing was the most selfish thing you could do. Here's the part that should make you uncomfortable. When that hunter shared his kill, he was not being kind. He was creating debt. Every person who accepted meat now owed him, not a specific amount, not with interest, not recorded anywhere, but the debt was real, and everyone in the tribe knew it. This is where the story gets strange, and I need you to pay attention here because most people miss this completely. The currency wasn't gold. It wasn't silver. It was reputation. In a group of 50 to 150 people, everyone knew everyone. If you took and never gave, your reputation collapsed. And in a world without laws, without courts, without jails, your reputation was quite literally your life. It was your credit score, your bank account, and your insurance policy, all stored in the collective memory of 100 people. And here's the question nobody asks. The question that changes everything about how you should think about money today. What happens when the group gets too big for everyone to know everyone? Because that's exactly what happened. And what humans did next is the most important financial decision ever made. A decision we're still living inside of. Around 10,000 years ago, humans invented agriculture. Villages became towns. Towns became cities. For the first time, you could walk through a marketplace and see people you had never met and would never see again. The reputation system broke instantly. You can't hold a stranger accountable through gossip. You can't remember who owes you from 6 harvests ago when you're dealing with 5,000 people instead of 50. So, what do? How do you trade with someone you'll never see again? Most history books skip straight from here to, and then they invented coins. But that's wrong. There is a missing chapter, the chapter that changes everything. And if you skip it, you will never understand what money actually is, because what humans invented first wasn't coins. It was something far stranger, something that has been sitting in museums for centuries while almost no one understood what they were looking at. These are the first written records in human history. They are not laws, they are not prayers, they are not poetry, they are receipts. Around 3,500 BCE, in Mesopotamia, temple priests began recording debts on clay tablets. A farmer deposits grain. The priest presses symbols into wet clay. 5 bushels of barley, household of Enlil. The clay hardens. The record is permanent. And then something extraordinary happened. Something the priests did not plan and could not have predicted. That clay tablet became money. Here's how. If the tablet said the temple owed me 5 bushels and I owed you something of equal value, I could hand you the tablet instead. Now, the temple owes you. You can redeem it, or you can pass it to someone else. The tablet was a promise, backed by the temple, transferable between strangers, and therefore spendable. This part matters more than it sounds, so I'm going to say it directly. Money, from its very first breath, was not a thing. It was a relationship, a debt, an IOU that could change hands. And if that makes you uncomfortable, if the idea that money is fundamentally just a record of who owes whom bothers you, good. It should, because everything about the modern financial system that feels unstable, imaginary, or rigged was baked into money from the very beginning. But that's only half the story. The other half, the half that explains why money looks the way it does today, involves a decision made 2,600 years ago. And almost everyone gets this decision exactly backwards. Before I show you what actually happened, I need to warn you. The next part of this story is going to challenge something you probably believe deeply about why money exists. It's not comfortable, but it's the part of the history that actually explains the world you're living in. Here it is. Around 600 BCE, in the kingdom of Lydia, modern-day Turkey, the first standardized coins appeared. Electrum, stamped with a lion, guaranteed by the king. And here's the standard story. Coins made trade easier. No more weighing metal, no more testing purity, just count and go. Trade exploded. Everyone got richer. That's true, but it's not why coins were invented. The real reason is darker, more practical, and completely explains why governments have never been able to keep their hands off money. Think about this from the king's perspective. You need to pay your army. Before coins, you paid in grain, livestock, and land. Messy, hard to transport, impossible to standardize. But if you mint coins, pay your soldiers in coins, and then demand those exact same coins back as taxes. You've created a closed system. Soldiers spend coins in the marketplace. Citizens need coins to pay taxes. Everyone is now economically dependent on state-issued tokens. The market was not the purpose of money. The market was the side effect. Money was invented primarily as a tool for taxation and war. This is the third false belief, and it's the hardest one to accept because it means the thing in your wallet, on your phone, in your bank account was never truly yours. It was always the state's, and the state has always known this. But here's where it gets strange again, because there was an alternative path. A different way money could have gone. And the story of that path ends with the British Parliament on fire. For over 700 years, from the 1100s until 1826, England ran part of its economy on something called tally sticks. Here's how they worked. If you paid taxes to the crown, the exchequer would take a hazelwood stick and cut notches representing the amount you paid. Then, they'd split the stick lengthwise. You kept one half, the treasury kept the other. The wood grain was unique. No two halves could ever match except each other. They were unforgeable, untamperable, and completely decentralized. Anyone holding half a tally stick was holding verifiable government debt, and these sticks circulated as money. You could use your half to pay other debts. The tally stick was literally what money actually is, a split IOU, stripped to its purest form. No gold, no temple, no king's stamp, just a promise, physically split between two parties. Then, in 1826, the British government decided to modernize. They replaced the tally sticks with paper records. The old sticks, centuries of them, were to be destroyed. They burned them in the furnaces beneath the House of Lords. The fire got out of control. It burned down the entire Houses of Parliament. The most primitive form of money in recorded history literally destroyed the seat of the world's most powerful government. You cannot make this up. Every form of money humans have ever used, reputation, clay tablets, coins, tally sticks, paper, digits, is built on the same foundation. A promise, a shared fiction, an IOU that only works because enough people agree it works. The question ancient humans faced is the same question you face right now. Who controls the ledger? For 5,000 years, the answer was some form of centralized authority. The temple, the king, the treasury, the bank. But right now, for the first time in human history, that answer is being challenged. Decentralized ledgers, Digital currencies, systems designed to do what tally sticks did, split the IOU between parties without a king in the middle. The experiment that started in a Sumerian temple 5,500 years ago isn't over. It's accelerating. And here's what I can't stop thinking about. If money has always been a shared fiction, what happens when we stop sharing the same fiction? If understanding how the system actually works matters to you, there's more where this came from.